This is Tar Heel Talk, an in-depth look at the issues and people making news in North Carolina. Here's your host, Sonia Williams.
Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina is a nonprofit organization designed to empower young people to own their economic success. It facilitates partnerships between schools and sponsors and volunteers to help prepare young people to succeed in a global economy by teaching financial literacy, workforce readiness, and entrepreneurship to students grades K through 12. And joining me now to tell us more about Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina is its president, B.B. Basin Lee, and board chair, Clayton Dorn. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
The Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina was established back in 1975. Give us a little bit of history on the organization and its mission.
Okay, Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina is one of 120 area offices throughout the country. We represent 18 counties. We were established in 1975. And really what we do is we teach young people about money and business and jobs. And so what we've done is over the last 40 years, we've been able to impact 250,000 students throughout our 18 county area. Junior Achievement started as one program. It was an after-school program specifically for high school students, and that was called a company program, where students came together, they built a business plan, they sold stock, they built product, they sold the product to their community. And then in the mid-70s, it kind of morphed because educators were saying these students need these tools earlier. So now we have programs kindergarten through 12th grade. In the kindergarten through 5th grade, the elementary schools, grade levels are specific by grade level. And then when you get into the middle school and the high school, the teacher selects which program they would like for their students to have.
Okay, and I want to talk about some of those programs and lessons a bit more in some more detail a bit later in the show. But first I want to just get an understanding of exactly how the program works. I know you've partnered with particular schools in the area. Talk a little bit about the logistics of the program.
So a teacher will request a Junior Achievement volunteer to come into their classroom. And then we go in and we train the volunteers. And the volunteer goes in with a set of lesson plans. And so each program is 5 to 7 lessons depending on the grade level. And so the volunteer would go back into that classroom 5 times. Once a week is typically the way we do it, and be meeting with the same children and go over a different lesson plan each week. The volunteer gets this whole kit with all of the materials that they need. The plans are already written for them. Each lesson has a major concept that we're trying to reinforce to the students, and then they do an activity which reinforces that concept, whether it's budgeting or city planning or voting or taxes or whatever. So the volunteer covers the material, they do an activity that reinforces that particular concept, and then they come back the next week and build on it.
Now, Clayton, you are a transportation manager with UPS, and I know UPS is involved in many different aspects with Junior Achievement. Talk a little bit about the involvement of UPS and all the work that you're doing with students.
Okay, I'm glad to do that. UPS has been involved with JA quite a bit, and in different areas all over the country. We believe in giving back to our community, and one way we can do that is through Junior Achievement. And we get the opportunity to go out into the areas that we serve in, live in, and work in, and give back in a sense. It also helps us on our side. I always pick at people and say, yes, we're going to teach them, but we're learning so much too. Because it kind of take you back to when you was in school, and you say, man, I wished I would have had JA.
Absolutely.
When I was this age. This is fun, this is good information, and I can see how it's going to help them down the road. Whether they are employer hours or working out in our community or my kids taking care of me, which is a good thing. And I think we take it for granted that our kids may know, or someone may know, when they're missing out on an opportunity, when they can actually serve and go help get the message out a little faster.
Right.
I've come up with this new slogan, well, not too new, a lot of people say, let's do more with less. I'm saying let's do more with more. It's a good way to get involved in your community. Excellent way. It's kind of like joining a PTA where you don't have kids in the school at. So you get to go to opportunity to help and maybe see what the school needs are. It means a lot more than just teaching JA. It's an opportunity for our community. And it helps in more than one way than, financial literacy or preparing for jobs. There's a lot out there that we miss out on when we don't take those opportunities. So we're glad to give those volunteer hours back and, we gain a lot from it, from our self-development and from, possible future employers.
Absolutely, and that's an important point because a lot of these students, particularly our middle and high school students, are getting an opportunity to see firsthand what it's like to work at UPS or some of the other companies. So they're getting to shadow professionals long before they have to make a choice about their career path.
Yeah, we impact everyone on the job shadows. When they come out, to UPS facility or any other place, when they go out, sometimes you find that people who chaperoning, they get a lot out of it too. Right. So like I said, it's bigger than what we may portray it to be, but it's a great opportunity to show the kids, real life, real time what's happening and something we might be looking at that they don't realize we're looking at.
Absolutely. When you look at how this program has grown over the years here in Eastern North Carolina, in the 18 counties that you serve, how many students have you been able to help over the years, and how is that growing?
Well, since we started in 1975, it's about 400,000 students that have been impacted. Annually, we're hitting about 7,500 to 10,000. This past year, we served almost 10,000 students, which was almost a 12% increase over the previous year.
Wow. I can imagine that takes a lot of volunteers, a lot of companies working together to provide those volunteers. Talk a little bit about your partnerships.
We have more demand than we are able to fill. Unfortunately, some of the requests we are not able to fill. We can't find a volunteer in that particular area, or the school's schedule and the volunteer schedules don't work. And so, that breaks my heart every time a teacher requests our program and we're not able to put a volunteer in that classroom. That's when I start trying to teach all the classes I can myself. But so there's very much of a logistical coordination that we have to do, because if in the typical JA scenario, the volunteer schedule has to meet with the teacher schedule. Right. We also do something called JA in a day, where we would go in and kind of blitz a classroom, and with 2 volunteers in the class, they would teach all the lessons in one day. And sometimes the teachers would prefer that, and often the business volunteers would prefer that as well, because it's a one day. Right. The job shadow that Clayton talked about, that's a really big piece that we have been pulling a lot of high school and middle school students in to participate in these work-based learning opportunities. And you see the lights just go, the kids' eyes get so big when they walk into Cisco or GE or UPS, and they get every different visit is a different experience depending on where they're going. So then the employer kind of puts together whatever it is that they want the students to learn that day, and they hear from people about their job, their career path, their education. And so it's very rewarding to see these kids interact with these mentors.
And I can imagine the job shadowing in particular makes everything relevant to the students. Is that this real world work experience? They're seeing exactly what it's like to work in these companies, and maybe even making some connections that will get them jobs in the future.
Exactly.
We've seen that, and of course, certain students sticks out. We had a group of students out at the airport. And my question was, how many people at that age get the opportunity to see an airplane like they saw an airplane? Right. The engine, the cockpit, the payload, the halo, everything. So a great opportunity for them to see and actually see how it works, how much fuel it uses, and how we plan it out, how much weight's on the plane. So a good thing, good education, and it drums up interest. Hey, maybe I can be a pilot, or maybe I can be a mechanic.
Right. Just planting those seeds is extremely important when you talk about inspiring our young people to strive to do their absolute best in school and beyond.
And how we set up our routes. We had a employer. I was explain going to the grocery store, and he related it with UPS how we deliver the route. And the question he asked, would you get your ice cream first when you went in the grocery store? No, you would get that last because,
right.
Simple reason it would melt. But those type of examples, those type of things, the more students we can reach, it's better for everyone. And it's a great opportunity for industries to get involved with the community through the schools, which I think is a big need for that. And JA is a wonderful way to do it.
Absolutely. People can find out more information about Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina by going to your website, and we'll put that up on the screen so that people can take a look at the website. It's jaoenc.org, or they can call 919-821-2100 and certainly connect with you in a couple of different ways. We're going to take a break and we'll talk more in just a minute.
Great. Thank you.
Be back with more on Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina after these messages. Today's show highlights an organization designed to prepare students grades K through 12 for economic success. And Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina facilitates partnerships between schools, businesses, and volunteers to teach students financial literacy, workforce readiness, and entrepreneurship. And with us again is B.B. Basin Lee, president of Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina, and Clayton Dorn, who is the board chair for the organization. And before the break, we were talking about all the wonderful opportunities that are provided through the job shadow portion of Junior Achievement, but there are a number of other lessons and programs that are age appropriate. I want to talk a little bit more about some of those programs, because you start with our little ones who aren't quite ready for job shadowing, but certainly you're never too young to learn about money management and some of those other lessons.
We often find that money is something that often parents aren't talking to their children about. It's not in the curriculum. And just to understand how money operates in a community and how different businesses support each other, even as young as second grade, they get it.
Wow, which is amazing. I know my third grader, you talk about money, he's all over it.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a way to get their attention. Clayton, when you talk about going into the schools and working with children of all ages, K through 12, what is part of the most satisfying parts of that experience for you?
One is to see their hunger for it. It's like something new for them, and they really grasp it. And when I leave, the satisfaction of what we've completed. I was teaching a class, Our Future, and they had these pixel sticks, and they had to make their brand shield out of the pixel sticks. So I'm giving them 6 sticks. I'm thinking, man, how is this going to work? And I was amazed on what I got back. I got things back in 3D with 6 pixel sticks.
That's
I saw
impressive.
rows in 3D, all kind of shields, and they could explain to me what it meant, and I'm blown away from that. So the people are very hungry. The students are very hungry for this information, and I think we take it for granted that they have this information when they really don't. My wife and I we mail the allowance to our kids. And then it's up to them to have the envelopes and stack them up, or they can deposit it and do the right things with it, like they're supposed to, like we taught them. And I think that's a good lesson for what's coming to them in the future.
Right.
And I love that opportunity because it gives so much back to me. I can be somewhere with my family or whatever, and somebody I remember from class, hey, Mr. Dorn, remember you came to our school and we talked about such and such? Well, I'm doing this. That's very rewarding for that, to see that, and I get to meet the parents and we talk, and yes, I did visit school, and that's a good thing. So I like to see that, and I like to get an opportunity to people that work with me. You know, I used to try to get everything I could for myself, but now I spread it out a little bit, and you know, people are eager to volunteer and go out and teach the classes and read or mock interviews. We've done a number of things to help our students, so it's very rewarding for me as well.
Just the information that the students have access to through this program is absolutely amazing. You're preparing them not just for a career, but really for life. These are life experiences or life lessons that they'll need for the rest of their lives. So when you talk about some of the programs, and we mentioned them being age and grade specific, what are some of the signature programs? I know we've talked a lot about the job shadowing. What are some of the other programs that you provide?
The high school programs that we're getting a lot of demand for, and that's what I have to look at. This is where the teachers are seeing that this is going to benefit their students. Right. There's a career success program, which is about branding. It really does hone in on those soft skills, which employers are telling us that a lot of the talent pool they're seeing have hard skills, but they don't have the soft skills. So this is the critical thinking and the collaboration and communication and creativity, and there's a lot of focus in the high school on those 4 C's, and our programs fill that need. Personal finance, it's a 5-lesson program, and really gets kids thinking about how they spend their money, how they make decisions on how they spend their money, even down to the marketing portion of that. And then there's a Be Entrepreneurial program that is very popular in the high schools. Middle school, our most popular program is Economics for Success, and that is purely budgeting. The students actually get a profile where they are given a job, a number of children, and then they have to budget what they make into a month, you know, and be able to pay off the student loan and be able to make the car payment and the rent and pay daycare or whatever it is that their profile has given them. And that's a middle school program. The kids really, really get a lot out of it. And so do our volunteers. You know, that's one of those programs that all the bankers like to teach, you know, and the accountants, because they get it. The kids really do enjoy that. It's My Future that Clayton was talking about is another soft skill, preparing students to start thinking about what their resume looks like and what they're doing at church could impact their resume, and start really thinking about that and doing some mock interviews. We do the job shadow where we take students on site to businesses, but we also do a reverse job shadow where we'll bring business people into the school to talk about their jobs and their careers. And so that's been a very positive program that we've been able to implement as well. The elementary school, it's across the board. I mean, a lot of the 3rd grade, our city, where they learn city planning and they learn about zoning, kids love it. Our region is very popular with the teachers. That's the 4th grade program where they learn about different jobs within the region, and entrepreneurs. That's really where they focus in on that. A lot of the programs right now are getting very much into those STEM careers, because you know, in our area there's a lot of demand for STEM careers, so we do spend a good amount of time talking about the different types of careers within those fields.
There's a variety of programs for our children in the area, certainly great opportunities for them as well. We're going to take another break and we'll continue our conversation in just a minute. Up next, how you can help prepare students for success. We'll give you the details when Tar Heel Talk continues. Welcome back to Tar Heel Talk. I'm Sonia Williams. We're talking today about an organization that's empowering young people for success in both their careers and their lives. Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina facilitates partnerships between schools, businesses, and volunteers to teach students financial literacy, workforce readiness, and entrepreneurship. And with us again is its president, Bebe Basin Lee, and board chair, Clayton Dorn. Now, we were talking about all the wonderful programs that are offered through Junior Achievement. I understand that the Junior Achievement Chapter of Eastern North Carolina has received some national recognition and honors because of your work. Talk a little bit about the accolades that you've recently received.
We're thrilled. Junior Achievement USA has certain metrics that they kind of, it's our report card, so to speak, in each one of the area offices that are graded, so to speak, on those particular metrics. And most of them involve financial stability of the organization, our operational standards, that we maintain those operational standards, and our student growth, volunteer growth, class growth, and contact hours. And so this past year we received a 4-star award because we hit 4 of the 5 metrics. Okay. And then because of the 4-star award, we were considered for a National Peak Performance Team Award, which we were selected. There were 6 small markets that were selected out of 120 potential markets, and we were one of those. And we're really, really thrilled with this recognition.
Absolutely, and I can imagine you are as well, with a very strong board of directors supporting this organization. I know that you all have to be thrilled as well.
Very excited. I mean, we have one of the best boards, and I serve on a lot of boards, and I speak very highly of the JA board. And one reason why we're so diverse and everybody's working so hard, and it's amazing to me how everybody come in and that missing piece, somebody on the board take care of that missing piece. It's like they was made for it. So, and we like getting the awards, but we want to keep on. You know, winning. We want to continue to win.
Absolutely.
And the more students we reach, we feel like the more we're reaching. Of course, that comes with resources. And another way that UPS, we financially support JA, we volunteers, and of course, any kind of way we can support them, we support them. And we like for everyone to come aboard, help JA in our area that we live and serve in. We want to get more students, and we want to do it with more people. We want more people involved.
When you talk about reaching students, BB, how are the students and these volunteers connected? How does that work in terms of getting the volunteers into the classrooms, and which classrooms?
Some volunteers, I've got volunteers on our roster that have been teaching for 28 years.
Wow.
And they will go back and teach this. It really is, and that's a board member. So, you know, our board gets into the classroom a lot. So what happens is once a volunteer and a teacher are connected, often the teacher will say, can I have Mr. Dorn back again to teach my students next year? And so once that connection is made, the relationship becomes the volunteer and the school and the teacher. So that's one way that it works. And then we may have a firm that says, we want you to come in and talk to all of our employees about what you do. And it's really interesting because once I stand up and I'm starting to talk about junior achievement, I'll have people go, oh, I had that in Pennsylvania. Oh, I had that in Ohio, you know. And so then they're very eager to get into the classroom. And so what we do is we look at where they live, where they work, what grade level they want to teach in, and then we try to match them up based on where the teachers have asked for our programs.
When you talk about closing that achievement gap between minority students and their white counterparts, I can imagine a program as comprehensive as Junior Achievement really makes an impact on those students.
It does. It does. It certainly does, and the teachers will tell us that later. They'll say, you know, 6 weeks after my volunteer was gone, my kids were still talking about this particular activity or about how taxes are paid, or, you know, governmental employees, or whatever that particular lesson was about. And then the teachers can get supplemental information from us and continue to build on the entrepreneurial piece if that's what they're focusing on.
So how can people connect with Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina?
The best thing to do is just to call our office, 919-821-2100, or go to our website, which is jaoenc.org. That's for Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina.
BB Basin Lee and Clayton Dorn, both with Junior Achievement of Eastern North Carolina. Thank you so much for this wonderful program and the work you're doing to prepare our students for their futures, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
That's it for this week's Tar Heel Talk. I'm Sonia Williams. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.